Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Shauskas. Today's the 11th of June 2018. So welcome everyone, welcome to this first trading day for this week. As always, we're going to have a look at the markets, how they've closed on Friday, what levels to watch out for today and this week. But before we jump in, quickly let's have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers website and specifically our research page, where if you go in here on jfdbrokers.com and click JFD Research, it will take you to our little web page which we update on a daily basis with different trading shoutouts, technical analysis on its own, and of course our daily analysis. So yeah guys, feel free to kind of check us out here. I think you can find something useful for yourselves. But for now, let's have a look at the market. So the first one I want to touch on is the S&P 500. Now, Friday, of course, we closed nicely in the green zone, and now it seems like it wants to continue pushing higher. Certainly the levels that we're watching here on the upside are the 2790 and the 2800. Now this is a quite important area here of resistance because it kind of it is marked by these highs that we had in February and in March. So watch out for these levels, guys. I mean, these could get hit now. Certainly the first one to watch is the 2790, and if that doesn't hold, well, we do have the round 2800. So keep an eye on those two. If we suddenly get a strong break through them, well, this could open the path towards higher levels. Certainly on the upside here, we are keeping an eye on this the highest point that we had here in January, and that's around the 2875. Certainly before it could hit that level, we do have another small area of resistance, potential area of resistance at around this level, 2835, approximately there. Could be hit initially, of course, but for now, like I said, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much, and let's see what it wants to do with these two levels I've just mentioned before. For us to become more bearish on this one, we would need to see a nice move back down here below the 2742 mark. Certainly a good area of support right now here. If we do get a break below, well, we could aim for this one right here, the 2700. So for now, guys, watch out for this one. I mean, watch out for this a potential move here, especially, of course, we're not far from these higher levels, so a good index to watch. And for those who like to trade it, something interesting is building up here. Let's quickly have a look at NASDAQ. And NASDAQ, well, we were talking about this one and we were hitting all-time highs last week. We managed to break this highest point which we saw here in March. Certainly we broke that, the 7170 mark, broke it to the upside, but then actually closed on Thursday below that level now, and we managed to get back below the 7170 area. So of course this is not really looking good for NASDAQ. I mean, certainly we could see another attempt of testing the 7170, but if that continues to hold, well, I mean, like I said, this could look a little bit ugly for NASDAQ, and we could maybe see a slide down here. Certainly if we get a break here above the 7170, and eventually we'll start taking out these recent highs that we had here. Let me just put a line here approximately, so the 7215 mark. If we start breaking that level, well, I mean, it's opening the path towards higher levels. So for now, guys, just keep an eye on this area. Let's see what it wants to do with the 7170. Looking at the FTSE 100, and the FTSE 100 on Friday, it had a slide down. It seemed that it wants to continue pushing lower, maybe even testing this 7610 mark. But we saw this nice retracement back up. Certainly it's a bit tricky right now because it's currently bouncing around this 7690 area, this key level, key level of support in the past. Now it's acting as a resistance level, so watch out for this, guys. I mean, there is an equal chance for this one to reverse and go back up here. Now we would only probably consider like aiming for higher levels if we see a nice break here above the 77.95 mark. Now this area, just to remind you guys, this area has been a high here that we had in January, so good level to watch. If we do get a break here, then this could lead towards this highest point here in history in FTSE that we saw in May. So that's around the 79.03 mark, approximately there. So watch out for this, guys. I mean, certainly currently, just looking at the current picture, the sentiment is more to the downside. We need to see another attempt of testing this 7610 in order to kind of consider further declines, and of course we would need to see a nice break and a close below the 7610 in order to consider further declines. For now, we just continue monitoring it. It's quite a tricky one to kind of do something with it right now at this point, so like I said, just keep an eye on it. And looking at the DAX, and the DAX, well, showed us some strength here on Friday, pushed higher and managed to close above this 200 EMA, shown here as the black line. Certainly it wasn't enough for DAX to close off the week in the green, so it's still closed in the red. So I mean, for now, guys, certainly it seems like that there could be a potential move lower again, but to be honest, for us, you can see probably on this chart that these key areas here that we've got highlighted. So I've got the level here, the 12,600. Now I'm looking for a break here in order to kind of consider further declines. On the upside here, I would need to see a nice move above the 12,830, and of course I would need to see a move back, well, above these highs that we had here, around the 12,920, in order to kind of consider maybe hitting the psychological 13,000 again. So for now, again, similar story as with the FTSE. We continue to observe this because currently you can see that it's ranging here. So we need to see a nice good break to either of the sides in order to kind of consider further other levels, either to the upside here or to the downside. So keep an eye on these areas that I've got highlighted. Looking at gold now, so gold continues to do nothing, and certainly, I mean, it continues to trade around its psychological 1300. So for now, we're just observing it and just waiting for a nice move here. Certainly, of course, the more it's getting like squeezed like this, then yep, the bigger the pop is going to be probably. So certainly keep an eye on the 1307 here on the upside. Now, if we get a nice break here above, this could open the path towards these higher levels. Around the next good area of resistance could be the 1326 mark, 1326.25 approximately there. Watch out, and of course, if that doesn't hold, well, guess what? I mean, this could open the path towards higher levels again. But for now, just continue monitoring this one, guys. I mean, we do have some good levels on the downside as well. We do have this long-term upwards moving trend line that continues to act as a very good level of support here. And certainly, we would need to see a nice break below that below this long-term upwards moving trend line, and especially a break below this 1290 mark. Now, it acted as a good level of support in the past as well, and if we get a confirmation break below this long-term upwards moving trend line and this 1290, well, this could turn ugly for the commodity, for this precious metal, and we could maybe see a slide lower here, maybe even towards this 1282.5, or even this other upwards moving trend line that we've got running here since around July last year. So keep an eye on it, guys. Keep a close eye on it. I mean, we could see some developments happening this week, so which could trigger some buying or selling and act more like big buying or big selling in this precious metal. Let's have a look at a few pairs. And so the euro dollar continues to move higher here now. Today we can see this nice bullish candle forming, so we're currently aiming for this 118.250 mark, approximately there. And if we do get a nice break above this, well, we could start aiming for higher levels. Certainly we do have the psychological 120 mark. Now this 120 proves to be a key area of, well, of resistance. It will become a key area of resistance. Certainly it's not far from the 200 EMA that we've got here shown as the black line. Watch out for this area, guys. I mean, we could end up pushing higher only, of course, if we get a nice break here above the 118.250. Certainly there are some good levels that we could meet on its way, especially like, for example, 119.15 mark, approximately there. So keep an eye on that as well. But again, the more important level to watch here is the 120, the psychological 120. Slightly above that, we do have the 12900, which acted as the highest point in 2017. So, but we will only consider that level if we get a nice break above the 120. On the downside, we would need to see a move below the 117.500 in order to kind of consider lower levels here. Certainly, the other good area of support that we would be looking at if we get a break below the 117.500 is the 116.500. Now, a break below that could lead to a test of this long-term upwards moving trend line that has been running since January 2017. So you can see that recently it acted as a good level of support, so we could end up testing that one only, of course, if we get a move below the 117.500 and then eventually the 116.500. Looking at the GBP USD, so GBP USD is also kind of trying to push higher today. We can see that it's kind of finding its support here around this area between the 133.990 and the 134. Also, it's hanging around just this 21 EMA shown here as the yellow line. So this area continues to act as a strong area of support, so we could see maybe a push here towards the 134.55 mark, and if that doesn't hold, well, we could end up pushing higher here, maybe even towards this 200 EMA, which probably by the time when this pair could move higher here, but the time this 200 EMA could coincide with this 136.15 mark, so approximately there. So good level of resistance as well to watch. Keep a close eye on it, but like I said, we'll probably become more bullish on this one if we see a nice move above the 134.55. Let's quickly have a look at a few other pairs. So the USD CAD, now that's an interesting one, continues to trade here sideways. Friday, of course, Friday we saw the candle closing here in the red zone, but today, of course, we're seeing this candle now pushing higher. So to this triangle formation that the pair broke out of recently, so this upper side of this triangle continues to act as a good level of support, to be honest, and like now it's like acting as a nice trampoline here for and we're moving here. We managed to touch the psychological 130 today already. Certainly currently is trading about 35 pips below that, but nevertheless, I mean, if this continues like this, we could end up testing the psychological 130 again, and then if that doesn't hold, well, we do have this other very good important area of resistance at around 130.500. Now a break above that could send this pair towards the highs that we had in March, and that's around the 131.250 approximately there. But like I said, for that we would need to see a nice break above the 130.500. On the downside, of course, if this suddenly gets back below this downwards moving trend line here, If we get a move here, then well, we could start aiming maybe towards these this area around this 128 200 approximately there. We could see that as being a nice area, the first area of support. Certainly a break below that could send this pair to test this upwards moving trend line here that's running from February this year. So, but of course, the downside is slightly off the table for now. Keep an eye on the psychological 130. If we do get a nice break here, then well, it could open the path towards the 130 500. Okay, guys, I will have to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you found it useful, of course. So please join me later on in my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. So, but for now, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening, and bye-bye.